dear students, welcome back. We were discussing about the cloning vectors. Let us continue the topic, the cloning vectors from plus 2 biotechnology. Here we have discussed the characteristics of a cloning vector, presence of order sequence, cloning sites and selectable markers. Today we are just discussing another concept of selectable markers. So in the last class we have discussed the usage of antibiotic resistance genes, and it requires double plating. First we have to plate in a particular antibiotics to eliminate the non-transformants, and second we have to plate in another antibiotic, the second antibiotic, to remove the non-recombinants. So it's a troublesome process with double plating. Now there are more easy attempts of usage of selectable markers. So here we are discussing the usage of an enzyme sequence as the selectable marker. So in the earlier example PBR322 we have discussed antibiotic resistance genes as selectable markers, and here we discuss the sequence of enzyme, the sequence of an enzyme as the selectable marker instead of antibiotic resistance. And this is a more easy method than the usage of antibiotic resistance gene. So in both the cases we can just discuss it as insertional inactivation. Whether it's an antibiotic resistance gene or an enzyme sequence, due to the insertion of a foreign gene, due to the insertion of a desired gene, this plasmid is losing a particular ability, a particular property. In the previous case, when we have inserted a gene in PBR322, it has lost what? Tetracycline resistance. That means due to insertion, it inactivated tetracycline resistance gene expression. Here, if we are inserting a foreign gene into this sequence, the sequence of beta-galactosidase enzyme, it inactivates this enzyme. In both the cases, we can discuss as insertional inactivation. This is because due to the insertion of a desired gene or a foreign DNA, the plasmid, thereby the bacterium, is losing a particular character, a particular property. Then come to this point, another example of selectable marker is the enzyme sequence beta-galactosidase. Instead of the two antibiotic resistance gene in the previous example, that is PBR322, here there is only one sequence, that is the sequence of the enzyme beta-galactosidase. And this enzyme sequence from here to here, suppose, is used as the selectable marker here. So which is the selectable marker in this case? The selectable marker is what? Beta-galactosidase enzyme. Okay. Then, listen carefully here. This plasmid, if we are using as a vector and if our recombination is successful in this particular site, we are making a cut with a restriction enzyme, and suppose this foreign DNA we are inserting here. We have inserted a foreign DNA here. Then this beta-galactosidase enzyme sequence is broken. That means this plasmid is no more having expression for this enzyme. That understand the recombinants. If the recombination is successful, the recombinants will not produce enzyme. No enzyme sequence because of the insertion, because of the recombination, the enzyme sequence is broken. Whereas if the recombination is not successful, that means enzyme action is not successful, so that no any insertion, means it is a non-recombinant. The non-recombinant will produce the enzyme. This is a more easy method. Here if the recombination is successful, if the restriction enzyme action and recombination is successful, the recombinants will not produce this beta-galactosidase enzyme, whereas the non-recombinants will produce the enzyme. Then listen here, a group of bacterium, okay, see the bacterium, here also the same way, some bacterium will receive recombinants, I mean with a foreign DNA inside, some without that, okay, some non-transformants, okay, some bacterium will not receive anything, okay, its own genome only will be there, transformants, okay. In this particular example, here, this is what is a recombinant, this is a non-recombinant DNA, whereas this one hasn't received anything, so it is a non-transformant. These two are transformants. And this non-recombinant, this recombinant will not produce enzyme. Okay? Whereas this one produce enzyme. Okay? Then among this, listen carefully. When we are taking this bacteria in a culture plate, any container, in a petri dish or in a culture plate, when we are growing all this type of bacteria, listen carefully. Some bacteria are able to produce enzyme, whereas some bacteria are unable to produce enzyme. This is a culture petri plate. Imagine. Here you can see certain bacteria producing blue colored colonies. You can see certain bacteria producing blue colored colonies. Okay? Whereas certain bacteria produce white colored colonies, white colonies. Okay? So, listen, which are the bacteria producing blue colored colonies? See, the enzyme beta-galactosidase. Okay? When we provide the substrate for the enzyme action, we are providing, in this particular chamber, we are providing substrates for the enzyme action. Every enzyme converts certain substrate to product, is not? It is helping facilitating a reaction. What is a reaction? Substrate to product. So, beta-galactosidase enzyme is acting on a particular substrate and it gives a product. Every enzyme is like that. Then, suppose here we are providing chromogenic substrate for the action of beta-galactosidase enzyme. In this particular chamber, petri dish or in our container, we are giving chromogenic substrate. Chromogenic substrate means on action it produces colored products. This will produce colored products. So understand, here is providing blue colored products. Okay. So when we are introducing chromogenic substrates to this particular medium, wherever the enzymes are present, wherever beta-galactosidase enzyme is present or wherever it is produced, in all that bacteria remain blue colored because of the blue products. Okay, well that means this is a non-recombinant bacterial group. This is also a non-recombinant bacterium group because this has the enzyme. Okay, all blue colored are non-recombinants. They are with the enzyme. Since they contain enzyme, they are giving blue colored product. Okay, so the colony is blue colored. Okay, very simple. There is no any troublesome double plating method. In this particular case, after the action of restriction enzyme on this particular plasmid with the beta-galactosidase enzyme sequence, after the action of restriction enzyme, we introduce, the DNA ligase and the further action recombination. Anyway, there stands for recombinants and non-recombinants, and all these plasmids we introduce to bacterium, and all this bacteria we grow in a culture plate. And if the bacteria contain non-recombinant plasmid, then only it is producing enzyme. Okay, that means if the insertion and the action everything successful, that recombinant one can never produce enzyme. So all the recombinant ones will produce white colored colonies. Throughout the medium there will be recombinant ones producing white colored colonies. So the blue colored colonies will be produced by the non-recombinants. White colored will be produced by the recombinants. Okay, we require only the white colored bacteria for the further step. And this is the easy method of selectable markers. So anyway, not only antibiotic resistance, we can also use enzyme sequence as the selectable marker, which is a more easy method. Okay. The cloning vectors meant for plants and animals. Now, till now we have discussed the host is bacterial cell. In order to deliver to host, the bacterium cell, we are using plasmids as the vector. Otherwise, bacteriophages as the vector. So, we discuss plasmids as the major vectors to bacterial cell. If we need to deliver a gene to plant cells, which is the vector used? In order to deliver to plants, which are the commonly used vectors? See, this is an important discovery that certain bacterium, Agrobacterium tumefaciens. Agrobacterium tumefaciens. Okay, this is a bacterium, Agrobacterium tumefaciens. This bacterium is able to produce tumor-like growth in plants. Agrobacterium tumefaciens can produce tumor-like growth in plants. That means it can multiply and produce large number of cells. Okay, an organism producing a tumor means it is multiplying inside the cells. Okay, so that is a replicating ability. We can use for cloning. Okay, so see, this Agrobacterium tumefaciens contains a plasmid which is known as TI plasmid, tumor inducing plasmid. Understand? The bacterium Agrobacterium tumefaciens has a plasmid like other bacteria, and this plasmid is named as TI plasmid. It contains a particular portion tDNA, and this is responsible for that tumorous growth in plants. So understand, we can deliver a gene to plants using TI plasmid or Agrobacterium tumefaciens. So in order to multiply a gene in bacteria, we can use bacteriophages, plasmids and BAC as the vectors. Whereas in order to multiply a gene in plants, we can use Agrobacterium tumefaciens, a bacterium with its TI plasmid as the vector. Otherwise the TI plasmid as such, as the vector. And it contains a special DNA, tDNA, which is helping in the rapid multiplication to produce tumorous growth in plants. Okay, so which is the common vector used in plants? It is the cloning vector used in plants is Agrobacterium tumefaciens, is a bacterium. Okay, then similarly, in order to deliver a gene of interest to animals, okay, if the host is animal, which should be our cloning vector for animal cell? Which it should be? Here is what? In plants, Agrobacterium tumefaciens. Okay, just writing it very quick, I will give you note. Then, in order to deliver to animals, we are using retrovirus, which can also produce tumorous growth in animals, not in plants. Okay, so in order to deliver a gene of interest to animal cell or the animal body, what we should use? An organism which can produce tumorous growth in animals, that is nothing but retrovirus. Okay, this also can produce tumorous growth in animals, and this can help in the multiplication or replication of the gene of interest. Okay, it help us to multiply or clone the gene of interest. Okay, before that it should be disarmed, and if the virulent property is also there, means the animal get the disease. Okay, so the disarmed retrovirus is used as a cloning vector for animal cells or animal body. Okay, if it is not processed or not treated, the animal get the disease. Okay, so our aim is just to clone the gene of interest. We have to multiply, or we can clone or multiply the gene of interest in animals using disarmed retrovirus. We can just move on to another simple topic. The next step of the rDNA synthesis and rDNA technology. So we were discussing about what cloning vectors, the tools. Under the tools of genetic engineering, we discussed the restriction enzymes and cloning vectors. Okay, and anyway, after that, the restriction enzyme is used to cut the DNA. The cloning vectors are used to carry it to the gene of interest. Whatever rDNA is constructed, then suppose we need to, our aim is to deliver it to a cell. Okay, a body. It may be either a bacterium we have to deliver it. Otherwise, we have to deliver it to a plant. Okay, plant body, or we have to deliver it to an animal body. In any of the three hosts, we are growing it. In any of the three host cells, we are growing it, multiplying the gene. So, our rDNA, okay, recombinant DNA, just giving an idea. Okay, it's with a plasmid. It is with a foreign gene. Our rDNA, we have to deliver to a bacterium cell, the plant cell, animal cells. We are moving to what are the techniques in order to deliver this to the bacterial cell, in order to deliver this to the plant cell, or in order to deliver this to animal cell. What are the methods? So this is the rDNA. In order to deliver this rDNA to bacterial cell. Anyway, this is a DNA. DNA is hydrophilic in nature. It cannot directly enter through the cell wall and cell membrane. So, the first and most important thing, in order to deliver it to a host bacterium cell, first, the membrane of the bacterium should be treated with divalent cation. Okay? Like calcium. First step, in order to deliver this rDNA to the host cell bacterium, it should be first treated with divalent cations like calcium. Then this membrane, on the membrane create pores, the membrane permeability is altered so that it can be easily received by the following step. Okay, so after treating with divalent cations, calcium like ions, we are incubating the bacterial cell. Incubating this cell with this in ice, heat shock, ice pattern. First incubate in ice, then a sudden small heat shock is given, then again incubated in ice. Okay? So once again, for this bacterium to accept this rDNA, first we are treating the bacterial cell with divalent cations like calcium 2+ ions. Then this makes the membrane more permeable. Then secondly, we are incubating this bacterial cells, number of bacteria along with the rDNA in first ice. Okay. Then a small heat shock of 42 degrees Celsius is given. Okay, again it will be followed ice incubation. ice, heat shock, ice. Okay, such incubation will make the entry of rDNA to bacterial cells. Then this will be here inside the bacterial body. Okay, and here in order to deliver to a plant cell, rDNA is coated around the microparticles of gold or tungsten. Microparticles of gold or tungsten is used, coated with the rDNA. Okay, see, the microparticles of gold or tungsten coated outside, coated with our rDNA is shoot or bombarded into the plant. Okay, that means this is using a device called gene gun. Have you heard this? Gene gun. And this is also known as biolistics. This is also known as biolistics method. Once again, in order to deliver the gene of interest, now as a recombinant DNA or in us directly, it is bombarded with the help of microparticles of high velocity particles. Okay, microparticles of gold and or tungsten, and using the device gene gun, it is shoot into the plant cells. Okay, that method is biolistics. So in plants, the method used is biolistics, whereas in animals, the method used is micro-injection with the help of a micropipette or needle. This is directly injected to animal cells. Okay, so in animal cells, the method used is micro-injection. Is it clear? So these are the ways the rDNA enter into this host cells. If it was bacterium, how is entering, and how is made entering? It was animal cell, plant cell. And anyway, in your textbook, this is given under the heading competent host. How is the host made competent to receive the rDNA? How is the host made competent to receive the rDNA? If it's a host bacterium, divalent cation treatment, ice, heat, ice, incubation. And if it's a plant cell, it is by the gene gun or biolistics method. And if it's an animal cell, it is by the micro-injection. I think it's clear. You have to learn this thoroughly, and I am not moving very fast. I will just take a little bit topic only a day, because this all concepts are new for you. Study regularly and come prepared for the live class. Thank you.